All right, hey guys, how's it going? Just wanted to take a quick opportunity to kind of introduce our Test Football Skills Academy that's going to be going on down in the at the Anson Sports Complex in Miramar, Florida. My name is Kevin Dunn. I'm the CEO and owner of the company. Just wanted to quickly introduce the team that you guys will be working with. We got Vance Matthews, uh, who will be our combine director. He'll give you a quick background on himself. We got Tony Rasiopi, who's our quarterback coach. We got Chad Wilson, who will be our DB and linebacker coach, and Otto Bolden, who is our linear speed coach, four-time Olympic sprint medals from Trinidad, and current NBC analyst for everything track and field for NBC Sports. So, some quick introductions for yourself, guys. I'd like you to, just kind of go into a little bit of background and history on some of your successes and what you're looking forward to most. Vance?
Kev introduced me, Vance Matthews. My success started, I guess, played 5 years at Rutgers, played receiver, was a preferred walk-on, earned a scholarship. So that's where it all started. Earned myself to be the Iron Knight, which is one of the hardest working people in the room. One of the only two-time winners. If you come from Ohio State or Rutgers, you probably have heard of it. Yeah, and then I've really got into this industry due to my love of coaching. I enjoy watching people get better and watching people succeed. So that's why I'm here.
Awesome. Tony, you're up. Give us a little bit of background on you and some of your historical success and why you're doing what you're doing.
Sounds good, guys. Hey, Tony Rasiopi, coach quarterbacks at Test Football Academy. Over a decade now, I've coached quarterbacks for 18 years at the high school and college level, as well as training quarterbacks from, middle school kids, high school kids, college kids, and obviously NFL draft prep and NFL players in their off seasons. So it's been a blast doing it. It's been a great experience. Last year we had Kenny Pickett, who's somebody I've worked with for 6 years through his college career, through his NFL draft prep, and obviously in the off season, and obviously in the future, to the end of his career. So had some great players come through our program. Davis Webb was a third-round pick by the Giants. Nate Stanley was a seventh-round pick by the Vikings. Have had RG3. Have had Gardner Minshew. Have had Trace McSorley, they were sixth-round picks. Still have them today. Currently, I've worked with over 30 NFL quarterbacks. Hopefully, we're going to double that number this year. That's the goal. As a player, real quick, played high school ball in Jersey, played college ball at Rowan University. Was two-time All-American. Graduated. I was top 10 passers in NCAA history, all divisions 1, 2, and 3. Played 4 years of pro ball. Was a free agent with the Jets and Dolphins. And got released and obviously dove into coaching soon after that. So GA'd at Temple University as a college coach and been a high school teacher and coach ever since.
Awesome. I appreciate that. Chad, do you want to jump into your background a little bit and, give us a reason why you're doing what you're doing at this point in your career?
Sure. I played college football at the University of Miami. Made big all Big East while I was there. I was there in the heyday, not kind of where we're at right now. But I played there. Spent a year with the Seattle Seahawks. Soon thereafter, jumped into coaching. Coached high school football for over a decade at University School and at American Heritage, and had the pleasure of coaching with Pat Surtain. And coaching a lot of really great athletes at both schools, most notably Pat Surtain and Tyson Campbell and several others that have come through there. I have two sons that are in the NFL. One's with the Pittsburgh Steelers, the other one's with the Arizona Cardinals. And I've been doing the combine training. This will make the 7th year that I've been doing this. So, I have a good amount of experience in doing it. I've trained a lot of the top defensive backs that have come out. I've been fortunate enough to work with some really good guys, and have done some good work with linebackers as well, getting them ready for their drills. Most notably being Brian Burns, who absolutely went out there and crushed it in his combine drill. So, I'm comfortable and happy with the amount of experience that I bring to that. And then also, I do train defensive backs as part of my job. And so that's guys that are just starting high school all the way up to the pros. I've got several of the Miami Dolphins and guys that are playing football around the NFL. So, you know, I've had a chance to work with some really good guys and have a whole bunch of experience in this. So I'm looking forward to working with guys that are trying to achieve their dream. And so one of the biggest things for me is having these guys go into the combine, because I know what a nerve-wracking experience it is, the pro day, the combine, and have them going in there feeling completely confident about it, you know, what they're going to be doing when they go in there, and they can, through all the midst of the emotions and stuff that's going on, feel extremely comfortable in their technique and the drills that they're about to do, and that they can go out there and crush that part of their workout. It's a tremendous stress relief for them to go into it being fully prepared. And, you know, I like the thought of having those guys being able to go into this very stressful, they've worked all their life for this. So, you know, them having the ability to go into this feeling very confident. It's a big part of it, success for them.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It's a big deal. That's obviously one of the biggest reasons why we're doing what we're doing. You having, you know, your own flesh and blood, two guys that are in the league. You didn't mention they were drafted in the second and fourth rounds consecutively. So, you know, the apple didn't fall too far from the tree on that one. And that says a lot about how you raised them. So it's an honor to have you as a coach on our, you know, on our team. And we're looking forward to the great things that you'll be bringing to the table in January and February for sure.
Appreciate it.
Otto Bolden, how we doing?
I'm good, man. So everybody, my name is Otto Bolden, and I come from the world of track and field. So I was a four-time Olympic medalist, an NCAA champion, and record holder in my prior life. And then Kevin and company sort of approached me to see if I would be interested in coaching at the, you know, in a football capacity. And at the time, I wasn't even coaching like high schoolers. I have since started and retired coaching high schoolers, and have the high school record holder in the women's and the girls 100. I think my interest in being in this field is because I never got a chance to play the game myself. When I moved here from Trinidad to New York, there was no football team. We were really good in lacrosse. So I think that would have been the time at which I might have thought, maybe look over to the other side of the fence. But what working with football players getting ready for their pro day and the combine for the last 13 seasons has meant to me is that I get a thrill watching test football clients and guys that I have worked with do well on Sundays. And of course, our most recent success is Kenny Pickett, who went from, Pitt University to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and now is the starting quarterback and is going through his rookie year. But it's more than that, because for me, it's also that this is not something I ever thought I would be doing. So I remember one of my first years, the guys kind of looking at me like, man, what is this track guy going to teach us? There's a bunch of defensive backs. What is this track guy going to teach us? And the more I got comfortable with them, the more I finally said, the ball's in the air and you've been beaten on a move. You want to be a sprinter now, or you want to just be a defensive back? Because you either got to make a play on the guy or the ball. And I think from that day, it kind of solidified that, that my expertise does work and it does help. I went to the combine on several occasions and saw people running the 40 and couldn't believe how bad it was. I have to say that the industry has sort of learned from us, and a lot of people in the industry now teach the techniques that we've been teaching for 13 years. Because you go back and look at Combine 2008, everybody isn't coming out of a dry phase. Everybody's running like a football player. I think now when I look at the Combine and when I look at pro days, football players look a lot more like sprinters. So for me, I am here starting year 13 because I get a thrill out of seeing all of the almost 70 people that I have worked with who are still in the NFL currently. I mean, just this past weekend, Deron Harmon, Brendan Bolden, who I really like, when he scores, I get to hear touchdown Bolden. But it really is about giving giving the knowledge back. And the thing that has kept me in this position for this long is because I truly enjoy every year seeing these young, hungry kids who I've seen play on Saturday, who want to play on Sunday. And if I can play my part in getting them to being players on Sunday, then it's extremely gratifying and rewarding for me.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, to us, and it's what I've been saying in this recruiting process. You know, the 40-yard dash is like the turkey at Thanksgiving dinner. You know, it really is in this combine process. It's, you know, it's what everyone's asking about. It's the first question: what was this 40? Especially from a skill perspective. And I think, you know, from that standpoint, it's always been a very important decision for us to have a guy like Otto, who's, you know, lending his expertise from a track and field linear standpoint. You know, I've coached speed my entire life, my entire adult career. I've been in this industry for 26 years. But I personally don't have four Olympic medals on my resume. So having Otto that's there, and being able to surround you guys with world-class people that have been there and done it at the highest level, I believe gives you the confidence that, you know, you can do it too. And I think that says a lot about our desire to make sure that you guys have everything that you need, and it's not just one person, but it's an army of people that are giving up, you know, their time to spend trying to enhance your abilities and get to the next level. You know, there's a ton of experience in this call right now, a ton. You're probably, you know, we got to be over 50 years of experience, maybe approaching 60 between all of us. But I think, you know, having that, you know, that being said, like, we've seen a lot of guys that have come and gone. You've heard a bunch of names that have been out there. We've helped or been able to help and been a part of the journey of 375 guys over the time that we've been doing this that have gotten their opportunity in the NFL. So you look back on that and all of a sudden, you know, you just blink and it's gone. It's like raising your kids and all of a sudden they're getting drafted, you know, right, Chad? Like it just happens. You just turn your head and it's an amazing accomplishment. But I also think, like, what you said is so key. With this is such an emotional time for each player, and we can never forget the fact that this is our, you know, this is your 7th year, your 6th year, your 10th year, your 12th year, doing this for 26 years for me. Like, I can never forget that it's the first year for each one of these guys. It's their first time through the process, and everyone deserves that level of attention and that level of preciseness, you know. And I think being on the field with Otto, you know, coaching, and I've heard him say this, like, first week we're bringing out the chainsaw and we're, you know, breaking out the ice sculpture, but by the end of it, we have the scalpel in our hand and we're really trying to fine tune everything. You know, one of the things that I would love to kind of pick your brains on is, you know, which I'm sure guys are thinking about now. What would be, in your head, like 3 characteristics that you would see primarily in some of the guys that you've seen make it to the next level? And why don't we go back around the other way? Otto, what do you think? 3 characteristics of some of the guys that have made it.
I don't have a great memory, so I have to go from maybe the last 2 or 3. I should say I don't have a good short-term memory per se. Ask me who got 3rd in the 1964 Olympics, I can tell you that. For me, it's maybe, if I had to list the top 3, I think it is professionalism. That's a big thing. It's the guy who jogs back to you when you're trying to coach him, as opposed to walking back. It's the guy who's there early. You know, you hear it's a cliche, certainly in football and in team sports, but it really does matter. The guy who is the first in the building and the last to leave. I think about how many guys that I watch play on Sunday now who were the guys that said, Foster Moreau of the Raiders comes to mind. He was a guy who, oh, really? Practice is over for everybody else. But coach, you know, it's really important to me that I run a good 40, which he did, by the way. It's really important to me for my draft status that I run a good 40. So can we spend some extra time getting my start right, getting my mechanics right, getting my head right about this 40. So the professionalism is definitely one of the things. But apart from that, it really is the hunger and the desire, because anybody can be hungry when it's easy or when you're having a good day. It's the guys who I see when they're not having a good day, when they're maybe having the worst day of their entire training session, and they still are like, it's okay, I'll get through today because I'll be better tomorrow. So there are certain things that I have found where I go, this, I mean, Foster Moreau, I don't want to just highlight one person. Kenny Pickett was like that. We've had others, we have tons of others, but just in recent memory, he stands out because he has sort of a type A personality, but that kid is a leader. And when you see a leader in practice versus a follower or somebody who's kind of go with the flow, I have found in my experience that that is the person that is more likely to be playing on Sundays.
Awesome. Yep. I remember Foster. That was 3 years ago, by the way. The recent memory.
It seems like 2 years ago, but yeah, it was 3 years ago.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, awesome. Chad, you want to weigh in?
I think guys that I've seen flourish, make it at the next level have had they paid attention to detail, especially at the position that I coach. It's very technical. And so guys that care about their technique and the little small details as you're coaching and coaching them, they tend to last longer because, your physical skills are going to erode while you're there playing in the league. That's just father time taking over. But if you have this attention to detail and you're someone who studies the position and your craft and you take it seriously, you tend to last longer in this league than, guys that know how to treat people, because they're, you're going to have personal relationships. You're going to be in a locker room. You're going to be around, administrative people in the building. You're going to be around coaches. And, in this league now, those coaches, there's a lot of turnover. So being able to, have a relationship with people and communicate with people, those people tend to last, longer than others. And then guys who have their personal life together. There are a lot of dudes that enter into this league with a whole lot of stuff going on with women, family, personally. And, if that unravels, then it's only a matter of time before it spills over to the field and into your career. And then guys go out. For virtually all of the guys that go into this game, it's not what they thought it was going to be. They think it's one thing when they're in high school and college, and then when they go to the next level, it's something different than what they thought it was, and then they're going to have to adjust. So, I think they're going to need those three things to be able to make that smooth transition, as they probably face adversity. For some of those guys, for the first time in their lives, in their football lives, they're going to face some kind of adversity. And if they're armed with those three things, they tend to survive more than guys who don't. I just hate to see guys go through this process and they take it for granted. They'll miss workouts. They'll casually miss them. They won't call you, Kevin, or, they won't let you know anything. They'll just miss. And then you've got to call them if you're inclined to do that. Defensive backs tend to be a very temperamental group. So, I've run into that over the years, guys who were extremely talented physically, but weren't taking it seriously. And for as much as I could tell them, as much wisdom that I could bring them, hey, I've been in your shoes personally. I've been doing this for a while. So, I'm bringing you data, if I could say that, from guys that have done this before. And I'm telling you, you need to do X, Y, Z. And then they just kind of roll along with it. And take their physical gifts for granted. It's really disappointing when that happens. Conversely, it's really great when guys put it all together and you see them, like Otto said, there's these little things that you'll notice. You're talking to a guy and he's looking at you, not looking down, not looking away. If you're asking a guy to, when you're doing these drills, you're trying to get them ready for what it's going to be like on that day. So, hey, listen, if you catch the ball or drop the ball, run, sprint. And you got a guy that's doing that, paying close attention to what it is you're telling them, then you feel good about their ability to, make it at the next level, because it's not quite as easy as a lot of guys think.
Yeah, that's huge. And really coming from a place of experience. right? Like there's definitely book knowledge, and you can study as much as you want, but that's what I love about this team. Um, it's a pretty mature group, and one of the things that we've frankly recruited against has been some of the distractions that might come along with being in the South Florida area, because we've been in New Jersey our entire most of our career outside of the few years that we were in Florida.
You mean there's
But-
nothing to do in Jersey?
Yeah, well, it's
Yeah.
it's January and February in Jersey, where it's cold, and if you want to isolate yourself from any distractions, you will not find any short skirts or bikinis in New Jersey in January and February. So you keep yourself completely free from any beach mode. Um, but there's a ton of guys that actually embrace that environment and that we've been able to help over the years. And even on a lot of the recruiting calls that I've been on, it's we're going to this place to work, and this is not a vacation. It's a destination spot for sure. It's the one time that we've actually not fought against not being able to sell palm trees and sunshine, but it's a beautiful area. The facility is really, it's a world-class place. It's an internationally ranked facility. So and for us, it really was the only decision. If we were going to Florida, that was the only facility we would be willing to kind of connect with, obviously having the history with Otto. And it's just a beautiful spot. So we're excited. But what you just said there, it means a lot, and I think that will resonate with a lot of kids that are out there now, because it is one of the biggest challenges, that whole transition going from being an amateur to a professional, being on a team your whole life, and for the first time you won't be, is scary. But it's also, it's real. It's as real as it comes. So Tony, your thoughts on that? Three characteristics.
I think the beauty of the quarterback position nowadays is everybody comes in different shapes and sizes now, right? 15 years ago it was the cookie cutter 6'5", 225-pound drop back guy that kind of sat at the top of the pocket like a statue, and drove the football downfield. And I think the beauty of the position nowadays is that you could be anything. You could be the 5'10" guy. What was it, 2 or 3 years in a row, the number one pick was 6 foot. And it's awesome because it's just opened doors for more players. There's obviously a ton of things to list, but if I were to go 3, the first thing would be work ethic, right? Obsessed with the grind, obsessed with getting better, obsessed with improvement, obsessed with looking at themselves and judging themselves and trying to improve, whether it's it's on the field, whether it's their body, whether it's finding weaknesses in their game and improving them. And obviously, for us, the classroom's huge for us, right? Understanding ball, understanding protections and concepts, and understanding defensive fronts and coverages. And, so work ethic's always going to start with me. The second thing is, are you a relentless competitor? Are you obsessed with winning in everything you do in life? It's not just a football thing. It's everything's a challenge. Everything is a competition. And are you obsessed with winning that competition? And then the last thing would be, are you mentally and physically tough? And the guys that I've worked with over the years, and some of these guys have been backups for 6 or 7 years in the NFL now. There's a reason why they hang around, and they're mentally and physically tough. Are they going to play bad at times and fight through that? You got to be able to battle through things as a football player, physically, mentally. And I think the guys that have long careers have the ability to kind of do both, right? Keep themselves in shape and fight through shoulders and knees and hips and those kind of things. But at the same time, also not lose confidence in who they are as a player and a person. So I would say those 3 things for me kind of stand out from a quarterback standpoint. And the guys who can play a long time, and you look at the guys who have done that, not just the stars of the league, but the guys who hang around for 12, 13, 14 years, they kind of fall in those 3 categories.
Awesome. Yeah, that's been big, Tony. I think, obviously in that position, you have to be a leader, right? And you got to be the one that's driving that obsession. And a lot of guys are probably looking at you as the one that's, they're probably matching your intensity. Look at some of the best quarterbacks ever. I know Brady's done that. Aaron Rodgers has done that. Just great examples, or leaders by example. And they bring the rest of the room up. you know. So it's great, obviously having you on board, and just for everyone out there, like Tony has made the decision to, take his entire family. He's got 3 kids under 5, and he's going to be moving down to South Florida for the combine prep season to make sure that you guys are 100% taken care of. He's also bringing his mother-in-law, which was a very risky move.
Game
there, buddy.
changer. Game changer.
So total game changer. He's actually going to be able to go out on a
Right.
date with his wife potentially,
Right.
which is awesome. So appreciate your commitment to that, and it just speaks volumes. Like, when you talk about an all-in kind of group, like this group is all in. So couldn't be more excited about it. That kind of leads me right over to Vance. Vance is also taking his whole life and moving down to Florida, to be the point person for the entire program, just keep everything coordinated and straight. How about you? Like, you've been through the process. You went through our combine prep program. What are your 3 things that you think, are the biggest characteristics that would help guys make it to the next level?
My 3 things, coachability obviously is big for me, and not just like, can you listen and do what someone says, but the guys that really want to learn and want to know why we're doing things. Why am I being coached this way? Understanding the whole scope of what we're trying to teach, why we're teaching it, and then implementing, whatever we tell them to do. They're trying to work on it, and they're doing what is asked of them. That's a big one for me. The guys that want to get better, and then that goes right into the next one, kind of like the work ethic thing. But for me, it's taking, I want to learn, and then like, I want to get better. No days off type attitude. Otto kind of touched on it, wants to stay late, wants to get extra reps. Those guys that want to put the work in, get better, learn. Those are the guys that I've seen, really take, we've had guys that are like, I'm an undrafted free agent, work their butt off, and then end up getting drafted. Those are the guys that stayed late, learned, took everything with, in stride, and just ran with it. And then the last one is mentality based. There's going to be good days, there's going to be bad days. How can a guy weather the storm in weeks 4, 5, and 6 when your body's tired? You've taken 1,000,000 reps at the 40, and only 10 of them have been a clap from Otto. So that mentality of being like, it's gonna be bad at some point, and being able to sit there, kind of take a step back, realize, all right, I've made progress from day 1 till now. I'm going to continue to get better, and then I trust these guys to get me right for my day, pro day, combine, whatever it is. Just being able to weather the storm with their mentality, and take the good and the bad, and take them in stride, and go from there.
100%. 100%. So, I'm excited. I think you guys, hit these characteristics right on the head. It takes a lot. I think self-discipline is going to be a big one. There's going to be opportunities probably on a Tuesday night before the regen on Wednesday. You're going to get opportunities or invitations to go out. Are you going to be reporting on Wednesday morning early, or are you going to be strolling in 5 to 10 minutes late for your first session of a regen day? And not just week 1, 2, and 3, but week 6, 7, and 8. What does that look like? I think that consistency means a lot to the coaching staff. And then when, like, all these guys on the Zoom call are going to get phone calls from scouts. What was their work ethic like? Were they the first one there, or the last one to leave? They want confirmations of the things that have nothing to do with football sometimes, to see what kind of person you are. And I think that speaks volumes. And we've got like a no tolerance policy for any kind of cancer in a group. So we will carve that out. Even through our recruiting process, it's been like, we want guys that are going to come here and work every single day. You got to be able to make the right decisions, and you got to be able to say no. That's one of the most powerful things, I think. Like, if this is really something that you want, more than anything, you got to be willing to sacrifice a few things for 8 weeks. It's not a long time, for the most important day of your life up to this point, because that'll be a big one. So, all of that being said, I'd love for you guys to just, as you are talking and, talking to some of the players that are considering coming here, what should they expect from you, and what are your expectations from them? I think that's a good way to kind of wrap up your last piece of information. Because then I think at the end of this Zoom call, I think everyone will get a chance to know each one of these coaches, which is why we did this, so that you guys can, as players that are out there watching this, help to make an educated decision on where you're going to end up going. It's not just a facility, but these are the people, these are the heartbeats that are going to be helping you get to the next level. And I know if I were a parent having my kid go through this process, this would be incredibly valuable to me, because I would want to know each and every person that's involved with my son's life to go from this level to the next level. So I think I, again, appreciate you guys for putting in the time. Before we get into this last segment, what will the players be able to expect from you, and what will you expect from them? Vance, let's start with you.
For me, what you can expect from me, I'm gonna show up every day and try and find a way that works for you to get better. Everybody has different learning styles. Everybody, has their own way of finding out how to do things. And for me, working with guys one-on-one, being able to find what works best for you, finding different cues, finding whatever works to get you to where you need to go. That's where I'm going to show up every day. I'm going to bring energy. I'm going to make sure that, the group is heading in the right direction. And then, what I expect out of anybody that's going to come and train with me, whether it's the 9-year-old that I had yesterday, I came for speed training, or the 70-year-old that's in one of my classes, and everyone in between to professional athletes, is just show up and get better. It doesn't matter how you get there, but if you can leave every day and say, I got better today, that's all I ask.
Awesome. Chad, you're up, buddy.
What guys should expect from me is just the answers to the test. I think that's something all of these guys can understand coming from college. They've all taken tests. It's good to have that study guide.
Time to take one more.
Yeah, there you go. Right. A little branding going on there, but
yeah,
it's good to, have a really good study guide going into the test, or to even know the answers. Man, someone got the test and they gave us all the answers. Well, that's what I'm going to do for you. I've been doing this for a while, and that's what my focus is. Some guys will go train somewhere else and they'll get into a whole bunch of things and techniques and how to play press and all this. I am going to teach you how to master the exact drills that you're going to do at the combine, and what you're most likely to see at a pro day. Now, everyone's pro day is different. There's different DB coaches, but by and large, there's certain drills that everyone's going to do. You're going to know how to do those drills. I'm going to show you exactly how to do them. I'm going to tell you what to expect. And so you're going to walk into it having the answers to the test. Now it's just up to you now to come in, soak up the knowledge, pay attention, be on the details. I'm not going to ride you, because I'm going to kind of give it to you how it's going to be at that next level. Maybe your college coach ran after you. Maybe your college coach went to your dorm. Maybe your college coach called you when you weren't at practice. They will not do that at the next level. You're there or you're not there. If you're not there and you're worthy and you're a guy that they're thinking about keeping, they're going to hit your check. They're going to take some money out of your check. If you're a guy that's not like that, you'll just get cut and you won't be around anymore. So I'm not going to run after you. I'm going to tell you what it is you need to do to excel at this test that's coming your way. I'm going to show you how to do it. And quite frankly, that's what it's going to be. So you come in, you apply yourself. I expect you to do that. This is the most important thing in your life up to this point. And, as you indicated, Kevin, what you said before, if you can't dial down and focus for 8 weeks for the most important thing, something you've been dreaming about probably all your life, then what are we even doing here? So come in focused, ready to get on the details, pay attention, be coachable, and I'm going to give you the answers to the test, and you're going to go in there and ace that. You're going to bubble in all the right places on that Scantron, if they even do that anymore.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean that's such a big piece of it. I appreciate everything that you just said there. Like that's, you know, being the most confident guy showing up to your pro day. You'll see it. You'll know the guys who are prepared, right? Scouts
It's nerve-wracking. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure these guys have told you. I went through it. My kids went through it.
Yeah.
Getting down at that line, crouching in for your 40, first of all. I mean, that's a hell of an experience, you know. So being confident in doing that. I know Otto knows the feeling. Lining up at a line and you're in an Olympic final. I mean, I don't know what could be going through your head. I know it was going through my mind to run a 40. So being confident, and then when you're lining up and doing these drills, if you know you've done this drill 100 times over, you've done it right, you know what it's coming, and this is the exact drill, you're gonna crush it. Despite how you may the butterflies that may be in your floating around in your stomach, you're gonna crush it.
Yeah, those butterflies will help enhance your performance, right? Unless they get to be too much and your anxiety level gets too high, and then it starts to decline your performance, right? Everybody's been through that experience, but I mean, you said it, and the combine process is so different from football, and I feel like that's such a big part of this, to get you guys to think, okay, I'm usually on the field with 21 other guys, right? At one time. But this is the first time where you're going to be on a field and it's just you, right? And it's all 32 teams with their stopwatches out, plus their GMs, plus everybody else. So you got a ton of people watching just you for that, hopefully 4.4 seconds. Right. So that's a big difference. Like football's random and chaotic. It's nothing like that experience. So you've got to get your mind dialed into that and be able to get ready for that. That's the whole mock pro day, mock pro day operation that we're going to have over the next couple of weeks. Every couple of weeks, we do another mock pro day just to get your mind right, and just to get your ability to deal with the stress of, oh man, I screwed up my 40 and now I got to go to the 5:10.5, and now I'm going to run the race of my life for the 5:10.5 and try to overrun that. And now I'm slipping on that one too. So now I just botched 2 drills instead of 1, right? Short-term memory. You've got to be able to deal with that kind of adversity, and to be able to have a short-term memory to get to the next drill and just run your race, Tony, what are guys going to expect from you, and what are you going to expect from them?
I'm excited. I think we've developed the best quarterback training program in the country. We've done it through hard work and details, and spending a lot of times on fields with guys. And I would say this. I would say when you come here, we're going to evaluate what you do well, and we're going to make it better, and we're going to find out why you miss if you do miss, and we're going to fix that, and that won't be an issue ever again. Whether that's, fundamentally footwork, routes on air, progressions, concepts. We're on the field 3 days a week from a throwing standpoint, working those things over and over again so we don't miss, as well as 2 times in the classroom, teaching you ball, preparing you for interviews, preparing you to talk to quarterback coaches and offensive coordinators, talking on the board, talking through concepts, talking about third and long, understanding football, understanding what cover 4 is, what cover 2 is, and ways to beat those coverages, preparing you for the next level at all phases of this thing. And I think that, if you look at last year, right, we had a guy go to the Senior Bowl, was MVP of the practice week, was perfect in the game. Best at the combine, and obviously from a pro day standpoint, dominated it. And I think that's our plan moving forward, right? It's to get the top guy or turn something into the top guy and, separate ourselves from the field. And we do that through our work ethic, our attention to details, and our obsession with greatness. And that's what we're looking for. And the guys that come, show up every day, be locked in, work hard, want to get better, ask questions. And when you leave here, you'll have the best experience you could ever have.
Huge. Huge. And I think, your work ethic speaks for itself, Tony. Like you've been, how many years were you at the Manning Passing Academy?
So this is just finished year 9, going into 10. Again, most people don't know this, but what they do is they invite the top, 35 to 45, quarterbacks pretty much every year from a college standpoint. And I'm one of the 4 guys they let work with the college guys every single year. I'm with Peyton Manning every single year from a drill standpoint, which is also awesome, right? One of the most amazing experiences you can possibly have as a coach, So it's been awesome. And again, it's been 10 years running now. So
Great. That's awesome. Well, we're excited to have you down there, and please thank your wife again for creating the quarterback frat house. I think pretty much she has that nickname. There've been plenty of guys that have actually stayed at their house that maybe and Tony probably wouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. There have been guys that haven't had the financial wherewithal to actually get to New Jersey and pay for the training and the housing and everything else. There have been quarterbacks that have stayed at their house. It's getting more and more difficult with 3 kids under 5 now.
Nobody wants to stay at my house anymore.
Yeah, they're out. They would rather pay $1 million than stay at your house.
Correct.
Not changing any diapers. But really, it just says a lot about, how much not just him, but his whole family cares about the success of the players that commit to us. So, all right, Otto, bringing it home. What should guys expect from you, and what do you expect from them?
I consider myself very fortunate to every year have a group of young gentlemen who have already had good or great college careers who are trying to better themselves. But let's just keep it 100. I know they are lucky to be in my class, and that is not an ego thing. It's because I look at the industry and I know what I bring to the table. I have been on the air analyzing the fastest people on earth, including Usain Bolt. I've talked a little bit about my own exploits as a coach. I have coached people to world junior championships, to Olympic gold medals. So with me, what they're getting is somebody who is, attention to detail is talked about a lot, but in my business, I literally have to have eyes that see things that other people do not. So they are going to get from me an obsessive compulsion to detail, because in small fixes come big gains when it comes to the 40. If I can improve your stride by 1/4 of an inch, multiply that by the number of steps that you have to take down the field, that's where your improvement comes from. That is what sprint coaching involves. The technique that I talked about before that everybody uses now is a technique that my club started, and I was a big part of designing. Yes, that thing that you hear now that rolls off everybody's tongue, the dry phase, that's something that we invented way back in 1996, 97. If you look at sprinters coming out of the blocks before that, everybody was coming, just stand straight up and run. There's a reason why sprinters look the way they do, even high schoolers. And now you go to the combine or a pro day, people are running a certain way because of a technique that we figured out some almost 30 years ago. Having said that, the biggest thing for me is to have the young men come and sort of let go of what they know or think they know and trust what I know. Because a lot of that, especially when you have a room full of alpha males and type A personalities, they're like, well, I used to do this, or my high school coach said that, or I ran track in college and this is what I was taught. And my thing to most of them who come at me with that is, okay, and that's well and good, but you are here because you are seeking professional employment in one of the hardest jobs to get on planet Earth. So you need somebody who is equally as adept. You need somebody on your level, quite frankly, because you wouldn't go to a junior high or a college coach to get the instruction that you need for the professional level necessarily, unless that person was exceptional. We do have some examples of that in our company. But for me, it really is that I expect them to listen, trust, repeat, master. That would be the list.
Got it. All right, that was pretty powerful. I'm pretty motivated. I want to go down there right now and start running. Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, everything that you guys have just said, kind of brought to the table, are really important. I think core foundational things of who you guys are as coaches, and you know, guys now know exactly what you're going to expect of them individually, and what we're going to expect from them in return. so I think that's big. You know, a couple other, you know, key points. I think is just our schedule is very unique. You guys are going to get the opportunity to work with Otto 4 days a week on linear speed. I know that's usually been a question. What does the schedule look like? We're 6 days a week. We're doing linear speed in the morning, 4 days a week. And then we're also working on a multi-directional drill. So either the 5-10-5 or the 3-cone on those 4 days as well. So you've been getting 4 days a week of 4D training, 2 days a week of 5-10-5, 2 days a week of 3-cone. And we know that the systems in a lot of in a lot of our competitors schedules allow for 4D training twice a week. So we look at an 8-week system times 2 sessions a week is 16 workouts focused on your 40. We're going to have 32. So I feel like that's such a bigger opportunity to get better. You know, that I don't think a lot of other places have mastered. And we have 100% respect for every other business in this small sector or this niche. If you're a trainer that's out there and you're trying to help a guy get to the next level, we have a ton of respect for those people. Just like as a player, I'm sure you have a ton of respect for your competing teams, but you're also not trying to wake up to be number 2 every day. We're warriors. We want to go to the wall. We want to win. And we feel like those are the kinds of people that we're going to attract to come to, South Florida to work with this team. So we're honored to be in consideration for coming down and being part of the only facility in South Florida that's focusing on exclusively skill positions. These are the guys that you're going to be working with. Our expectations are high. The intensity level is higher. The importance in your life couldn't be at a higher level. And we just think that, we're going to bring everything we have to the table to make sure that you get the best experience of your life, because you only get one shot at this. One. Some guys try to hang on and take that second shot, but you legitimately have one draft eligible year. This cycle is the second year where twice the number of kids are going to be coming out because a lot of guys stayed in because you got the extra COVID year. So think about that. So it's a harder job for you this year to get on a team because there's just more guys applying straight up. So it just means that you have to work that much harder in order to get there and make that much more of an impression to take the test of your life. So I'll go back to chat on that one. That was great. So any other questions that you guys as players may have for us? We're all on Instagram. You can hit us up with a DM. If you have individual questions for individual coaches, just hit them up. Let them know that you saw this video. We're here to help. There's people that do this because they're trying to collect a paycheck, and then there's people that do this because this is what they've done for their whole lives, and this is the industry that they've chosen to be in. And I feel like everyone in the room right now is part of that class of coach. So appreciate you guys as coaches taking the time out to put this call on and give the opportunity to the kids, parents, agents, anyone considering that's coming on board with us. We're going to give you everything we got. We have housing for 36 players, and that's it. So if you're one of the guys that get that opportunity, let's go. We have Airbnbs that are set up in West Hollywood and Hallandale Beach. We just put the deposit down, and basically when those rooms go, they go. Then at that point, you're at $150 a night for a room. So good luck. So we're excited to be a part of your journey, and we want to earn that respect and that trust. Please, again, hit any one of us up for any further questions, and we look forward to seeing you guys in January and February. All right, we're back. Trying to get everybody in the same room, sometimes a challenge. Brandon was on a flight last night, traveling all over the place. So we're honored to have him as part of our team, and just again wanted to give you guys an opportunity to really hear it from all of the coaches' minds and their hearts, exactly what they're all about and some of the things that they're going to be bringing to the table. So, Brandon, we're pumped to have you on the team this year, and it's going to be great. Like watching you in action. We've seen a ton of stuff. We've seen all the guys that you've been working with, and are proud of all the success that you've already had. And it's great to see guys flourishing in this industry. And congrats on all the things that you've already accomplished.
Thank you.
You got it. So why don't you give us just start off by giving us a little background, like some of your historical successes, and telling the guys why it is you do what you do.
Yeah. Well, I kind of stumbled into this lifestyle. Did never thought about coaching or training or anything like that, but through some events in life and one of my closest friends passing, God kind of pushed me here and pushed me there, till I ended up into place where, hey, I'm going to try to train young kids. And it was just like, all right, I'm training these guys, but I'm going to train all the best in the NFL. And everyone's like, well, how are you even going to meet these guys? And I'm like, well, I don't know. So I had a high school video that Chris Chambers saw. He flew me down to Florida. I saw what was going on in Florida. I saw that there was a big space for just wide receiver play. I saw like a lot of quarterback trainers, real specialized training. And I thought, like, there's an art to wide receiver play too. And there's a lot of details that we can go over just as much as a quarterback, if not more, to help you get open and to play that position and have that art. So I just wanted to come out there and show the art and create the art and create a system that was simple but complex in what we're teaching you, but simple in how we deliver it. And I just wanted to come and show a style like, hey, we can get busy, and they can't really guard us if we do what we do and if we move this certain way. And it just took off. And then I just started working with some of the best in the world.
Oh, that's awesome. I think your client list speaks for itself. You want to just talk about some of the guys that you've had the privilege to work with? Yeah,
well, I thank God I've had the privilege to work with a ton of guys. I worked closely with Stefon Diggs, worked closely with Deebo Samuel, worked pretty closely with Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Jerry Jeudy, Jarvis Landry, just to name a few, Jameson Williamson.
That's half the league right there.
Yeah, so that's just to name a couple guys out there. But so we've been getting busy the last couple of years.
That's awesome. Well, it's originally it's what attracted us to you originally, was to kind of see the things that you've been able to accomplish. And I was I was at a pro day out in Michigan, and we were looking at they were looking at like different players, and we were kind of eavesdropping on one of the scouts, because there were some issues with one of the players that they were talking about or scouting. And one of the things that he said stuck to me, and I really do believe that there's a lot to be said about this. He said, you know, the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. So to really see, and that can go in either direction, right? So you've got either,
Amen.
you know, I look at your, you know, the successes that you've been able to accomplish, legitimately, you know, single-handedly by yourself. I think that's huge. The things that your team has been able to do, but your past success, to me, it would be the best predictor of your future success. And that's something that, you know, when we kind of evaluated who we wanted to work with in Florida, and we have a very specific program that's exclusively focusing on skill positions. The way that you're running your receiver school is in line with where we wanted to go with our combine prep, right? Because there's so many places in the country where you can go and it's every position shows up, right? And they've got
Yeah.
different
Mhm.
position coaches at every one of those facilities if they have multiple facilities. For us, we wanted
Yeah.
to send our best coaches to one place and have those positions go to that facility. And I just felt like your mission statement, like everything that you're about in terms of like just focusing on wide receivers and wide receivers only, that was something that spoke to the direction that we wanted to go. So, you know, in some ways looking forward to emulating that, you know, and embracing that mindset. But that says a lot about, you know, the stuff that you've been able to accomplish and the things that we're looking forward to, you know, working out together. So we're excited for
Yeah.
that.
Me too, man. Me too.
How about, you know, some of the things that maybe you can offer some of the guys that are out there that haven't made it into the league yet, because your experience
Mhm.
has been like you kind of skipped this process, right? You went straight to the guys that were already in the pros. But these are all guys that are trying to get there at this point.
Yeah.
What would you consider the top 3 characteristics of athletes
Yeah.
that have made it? Like some of those
Uh,
guys that you mentioned, like what do you think are similar characteristics between those guys? Give me your top 3.
well, my top 3 right off the bat is just the obvious is they and it's so crazy, but the best work harder. And it's funny, man. It's like the best are the ones that's training the most. And they're already better than everyone else. And they train harder. And it's just like, so the best train harder, right? So they really, really work hard for real. They really, really work hard. Uh, Another one is the mindset. Okay, it's a certain mindset that you have to have for success, right? And Stefan Diggs talks about it and talks about not losing your confidence, being able to do it over and over and over again. So consistency, right? So just not hitting it once, but again and then again and then again and then again when the moment's on. So that type of mindset. There's one time I walked on the football field during the water break. Stefan Diggs was just standing there, sitting there by himself, staring at the field, and he would just had this angry look, and he was talking to himself, and he said, "I'm really like that." And I was looking like, who is he talking to? And he was just staring at the field. He was like, "I'm really like that. I'm really living like that." Then I looked and I was thinking, like, it's important how you talk to yourself, right? You can't wait for someone to tell you this and tell you that. You got to be able to talk to yourself in moments and say, "I can do this. I'm big. I'm big." So it's a mindset uh, of what be the next, and then yeah, we got to have the skills. We'll be the third.
Yeah.
You got to have the skills.
Yeah. 100%.
And that's the part we can handle.
Yeah. Yeah. I think having that, I call it emotional intelligence, right?
Mm-hmm.
When your emotions are all over the place, especially in the middle of a game, right? There's ups, there's downs, there's times where you're going to feel like you're beat, but how do you overcome that stuff mentally? You know, having that mental fortitude is so big. And then
So big.
the combine process is such a different experience for most players coming out of college, right? It's the most unique experience you're going to have because it's absolutely nothing like football.
Mhm.
So when you're on the field, you've got 21 other guys that are on the field with you. In this experience, for the combine experience, it's one player.
Yeah.
Your hand is down, about to run your 40. You got 32
Mhm.
watches that are on just you, and you
Mhm.
get 2 chances to run your 40, and that's it.
Yeah.
You don't get
Yeah.
4 downs. There's not 4 quarters. There's not next week's game. You have one day to perform at the highest level that you possibly can. And
Yes.
and it's all pre-programmed, right? Your like wide receiver training, like running routes, can be more repetitive, and like you said, do it again and again and again. Probably a
Mhm.
little more similar, to combine stuff, but there's always that component of being random and chaotic, right? With
Yeah.
football. With combine prep, there's nothing random about it. 40 yards is 40 yards no matter where you go in the country. 225 pounds weighs the exact same no matter where you go, right? So
Yeah.
the combine process is just different. And that mindset and that mental fortitude and that self-talk, so big. It's so big. And being able to surround yourself, I think, as an athlete, with other players or other coaches that have kind of been through this process multiple times and have been around
Mhm.
some of the
Mhm.
best, will permeate their own mindset. And we had Otto on the phone last night, like, having a guy like that who has 4 Olympic medals around his neck, like, that's a dude who knows exactly what he's doing with linear speed and has done it his
Mhm.
entire adult
Mhm.
career. Um, so, another world-class guy that we're bringing to the table, that will help permeate the mindset of each player to believe that they can do it at the highest level, you know? So that's where I think that
Yeah.
those characteristics weigh in really big. So let's talk about some of the expectations. What maybe some of the players would be when they arrive. What will they expect from you? What can they expect from you, and vice versa? Like, what will you be expecting from them?
I'll be expecting the pro, right? I'll be expecting them to handle their bill as a pro would. So
That's
I
huge.
expect them to show up as a pro. I expect them to work as a pro and come approach these workouts as a pro mindset, focused and serious. What they can expect from me is all of the above. I'm going to work on everything we need to work on. I'm going to adjust it accordingly. It's not a robot program. If you need a little wiggle here, but he needs a little jiggle there, we're going to handle that. We're going to make sure we get all the details covered up and down the field. There's going to be a lot of energy. There's going to be great conversation. I'm here to help, and I got you. I will help you. I'll clean up everything that we need to get cleaned up. All you just come out there with a pro mindset, be ready to work like a pro, and everything's going to be all right.
That's awesome. Um, any final thoughts as we kind of get into here in this last couple weeks of recruiting? We've been asking
Mm,
players to really kind of um, make it a point to kind of get together around that Thanksgiving time frame. It's usually when most kids are at least, if they're not home, they have some contact with their family, their guardians, like whoever's kind of in their circle, to make those
mm.
choices. What do you want to leave these guys with before that time frame, and as they're kind of making up their minds on where they want to go to train?
In the meantime, you know, let's just. I pray everyone stays safe, stays healthy. Um, I also say, whatever, when you have to make these big decisions and these big times are coming in your life, lean on whatever faith that you have. Lean on your faith, right? Whatever you believe in, and always ask, and you get the answers. Take your time. It's your decision. No one can make a decision for you. Um, and and we're here to help. We're doing something special. It's the first really all skill position combine, so it's only focused on that. Some of the best is there. It's the first time coming around, so that's special. So we're really excited. We would love to have you. Stay safe, lean on faith, and then I hope we'll see you in January. right?
Yeah, hey, you guys got to fly in on January 1st. We start on January 2nd.
Okay.
Looking forward to seeing all these
Okay.
guys come out here and join us and kind of and make history. I think that's what we're trying to do. You know,
Mhm.
as professionals in this industry, we are always going to respect our competitors, but we're not trying to wake up to be number two every day. We want to win. We're warriors, just like you guys. I'm sure all the players that are out there, you know, you wake up on Saturday morning, you want to get to your game, you want to win. So that's the mentality that we have. If you're looking to, you know, be around like-minded individuals and you have that same mentality, you'll really enjoy the process, because you've got to embrace the process when the lights are off and it's way in the off season, right? This will be the longest year in football in your entire life. You'll never have to do this again. You got to do it once. You got one shot to get it right. And I say this often in our recruiting calls, but you know, we would love to see these guys here and join us. But at the end of the day, if they decide to train somewhere else, that's great. God bless you. But the guys that are going to be working with us are going to be working on taking their lunch money on draft day. That's all I have to say.
I like that.
Yeah, that's a good wrap up. So Brandon, we couldn't be more excited to have you as part of the team.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's really, we consider it a blessing that you're bringing your expertise to the table. And you know, we're looking to do some special things in Miramar, Florida at the Anson Sports Complex. And you know, it's from the facility to the coaches. It's going to be an incredible experience. One agent told me once, when a kid was thinking about going somewhere else before we were in Florida, he said it's not about the facility, or it's not about the restaurant. It's about the cooks in the kitchen. You know, it's the cooks, the cooks that have the recipe that are gonna, you know, make the incredible food and be able to put it on the table. And you know, this process is long. It's arduous. It'll be the longest interview of your entire career, but you know, we've been there many cycles before, and you can lean on a lot of the maturity that's in the room, not only physically but also, you know, mentally, not only with our sports psychology program, but also, you know, a lot of the chalk talks just to prepare you guys for, you know, for the interviewing process. And I really believe, like, you and Tony are going to be a wild crew. Like, it's going to be awesome. I know you guys, I've had you guys on the phone a couple times, so just to get that vibe, he's going to be bringing his A game, and then obviously having you round that out with the receiver side and that whole receiver.
That's gonna be cool.
We're gonna have some fun. So
that's gonna be cool.
Yeah,
we're gonna do it the right way. We're gonna do it the right way.
Absolutely.
We're gonna do it the right way.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thanks again, Brandon. Appreciate it. And guys, if you know, we're sending this out to, you know, to the guys that we've been talking to and any other agents. If you guys need to follow up or have any other questions, you can shoot us a DM on Instagram at @test_football. You can call my cell 973-715-9740. Happy to answer any questions that you guys might have. And all of our coaches are also available if you need to connect. So looking forward to January. And Brandon, I'm excited, man. This is going to be a great ride.
Let's get ready.
All right, bro.
Seatbelts.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.
All right.
All right. Bye.